Verbal Riot.
Well, the numbers are in, the people have spoken, and apparently the critics don't know shit, y'all. Because the Minecraft movie is a hit. And I don't know how this happened. I'm not sure why it happened, but here we are talking about this movie that is not just number one in the box office, but crazy enough, it's the biggest movie of the year so far. How this happened, I have no idea. I it's mind-boggling. If you would have asked me like a week ago, what I thought this movie would do. To be honest with you, I would have said it'll do okay just because of the IP and the game is very popular. But for it to be this big, it has me like thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, right? Like maybe I shouldn't be a critic at all because if I was this wrong about a film, uh, then what am I doing here, right? But here we are, guys. Here we are. It's August 8th, 2025, and Minecraft is a hit, starring Jack Black. Now I'm not going to get into like the whole review of it all. Like I am going to review it a little bit. I'm going to talk about it, but for me, that's the least interesting thing about this movie. Like I want to get into like how we got here. Okay. This movie is based on an IP, based on a video game that's been around since I would say probably the past 15 years. Okay. There's been rumblings about them making a movie based on this game for a very long time. So it's always kind of been in the ether, but I didn't really think we would get here, and I guess finally we did. It's a movie starring Jack Black. It's also starring Jason Momoa. It's starring Emma Myers, who you guys might know from the show Wednesday with Jenna Ortega, and a bunch of other people. It's and Jennifer Coolidge, who has a really random part in this film, really random part. But it's a story about a game, based on a game that takes place in this kind of unique world where whatever you can think of, you can build, you can create, right? And there's a lot more story to it than that. There's a lot more heart to it than that, to be honest with you. And Jack Black plays Steve, who gets sucked into this world, uh, kind of first, I guess, before anybody else, because he finds this magical cube. Uh, Flash forward, he gets stuck there. This little girl and this little boy end up finding their way. I won't say little girl, she's actually kind of like the adult of the two, but they find their way into this world, and shenanigans happen, and they're trying to find their way out. Right now, obviously, I'm really oversimplifying the plot because it is a pretty simple plot. But look, if my critique, my opinion of the film is that it's not good. Okay, it's not good. With that said, I didn't hate it. All right, I sat there in a crowded theater for once, right? And it's weird I have to emphasize crowded, but guys, you know how long it's been since I've been in a crowded theater? Like people just aren't going to the movies anymore. So I was there in a crowded theater. There were a bunch of kids, and you know what those kids were doing? Those kids were laughing and clapping and cheering for this movie. So I took a step back, like, you know what? Okay, I get it now. This movie is not for me at all, but those kids are loving it. And you know what those kids do? They bring their parents with them, right? So the theater is benefiting from this kids' film. And honestly, maybe it's not for me, but you know what? I got to give it its credit. It knew its audience, it went after its audience, and it got its audience. People showed up for this movie, which, if you look at the contrast between this and Snow White, right? Snow White, who most people can say is a way bigger property, way bigger IP, right? More people know Snow White than anything else. No one showed up for it. They showed up for this movie. So I don't know, man. That says a lot. I mean, critics can shit on this movie all they want, but at the end of the day, people showed up for it. And that kind of brings me a little bit to like, a point I want to make, man, is, look, our job as movie critics And guys, if I seem a little distracted, you got to forgive me here. My next door neighbor, she has been having sex for like the past like 2 hours. It's very loud. It's very distracting. I am doing my absolute best to focus in on this on this video. It's hard to do that though, with her banging on the walls and moaning and all that other shit. So just bear with me. If I seem a little distracted, I'm trying to focus in. So um, as I was saying, our job as critics is to literally give our opinion of what we thought of the film, right? The story, the plot, the action, or whatever moves the story along, the characters, the cinematography, the editing, the music. Like we judge a lot of things, right? And we give a lot of grace according to some things, and we're pretty harsh considering some other things, right? My professional opinion, this movie's not great. It's not great at all, right? Like, even if I just like say, okay, yes, it's not for me. If I took that out of it, if I'm just critiquing it as a movie, it's not great. But see, that's the thing. It's not horrible either. It just kind of is what it is. So these movies are really hard to judge sometimes. They're really hard to judge because they're not. I can't say it's a bad movie. I can't say it's a good movie, right? It just has. It's what it is. It's a movie to taste. If this is your taste, you'll love it. If it's not your taste, you'll hate it. It's kind of that simple. Like it's almost critique proof, right? And there's not a lot of movies like that, but there are some, but there's not a lot. So it's hard to critique this film fully because I watched that reaction from the crowd who loved it. So it was a great film for them. You get what I'm saying here? But let's take a look, man. I want you guys to see just how well or how crazy this movie did. Put this up. Look at that. So this is the box office, man. These are the numbers, guys. These are the numbers, man. Like 100 and what 57, I believe it is. Oh, I'm sorry, 172. It was 157 last time I checked. $172 million. And I think that's domestic, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. Okay, because I really believe this is only domestic. I think it made more. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, 172 million domestic, 150 million international. So worldwide, over $300 million this movie is made. That is insane. That is insane. And you know what's funny is the movie itself, the marketing wasn't good for this movie at all. Like Warner Brothers really needs to kind of step up their marketing department because it's kind of been a miss, right? Like they did phenomenal with Barbie and Oppenheimer. We'll never see marketing on that level for a movie ever again. I don't believe so. That was I worked in marketing for 25 years, right? That's kind of my profession, along with critiquing movies. I've never seen marketing on that level that just worked so perfectly than I did with Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I don't know if lightning's ever going to strike twice that way again for any studio, to be honest with you. But you got to put some effort in, man. And I feel like with Minecraft, there wasn't a lot of good marketing. What did help them though was TikTok. Like people on TikTok took it on themselves to market this movie for them. And all that word of mouth and viral views kind of saved this movie because people cared about the IP. Now, speaking of TikTok, I mean, some bad things kind of happened with that too. If you guys have been paying attention of what's going on in theaters right now, look, people are overly excited for this film, okay? Or younger people, I should say. And in that excitement, they tend to act out. And they've been like kind of, being ruffians, right, if you will, in the movie theaters, kind of causing some havoc, especially during certain scenes. I guess there's this thing. Look, I played the game like a little bit, like 10 years ago. wasn't my thing. So I really don't know the ins and outs of this video game, but apparently like there's certain things in this game that people who play the game like absolutely love. And one of them being this thing called the chicken jockey, right? And it's like this zombie who rides a chicken and fights, right? And for some reason that gets the kids all riled up. It gets them all riled up. And there have been issues happening in movie theaters right now where people are like kind of going crazy, during certain scenes. They'll throw popcorn and sodas and cause a scene and distract people from the film. Kind of like this. Yeah! Oops, let me play that again for you. So yeah, basically, a lot of theaters right now are kind of experiencing some kind of rowdiness happening with this movie. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I think, when I go to a movie, the last thing I want to do is sit there and be like, distracted by people who are like screaming and acting up. But at the same time, I kind of like at least appreciate their enthusiasm for a movie, because guys, it's bleak out there right now, man. For movie theaters, it's really hard. People are not going to the movies like they used to. So just to even get a crowded theater these days, right? Like that's a win in and of its own. I mean, it's getting to that point now where people just are not going to the movies. So the fact that this movie brought people out to watch, man, you got to give them props for it. And as far as the movie itself goes, man, I think Jack Black did a look. Jack Black is Jack Black, okay? And I'm not necessarily a big fan of his lately. I love School of Rock. Still probably my favorite Jack Black movie, still School of Rock. Of course, I loved Tropic Thunder, but unfortunately, Jack Black has been Jack Black in every movie since then. And the shtick is old, but I got to give him credit. I feel like, at least with this movie, he wasn't phoning it in. Like, he got into it, man, and he was really kind of trying, at least, right? I love Jason Momoa's character. I thought he was hilarious, and it was kind of weird, obviously, seeing the trailer, seeing him in that weird pink jacket and all that. But then when you realize the character he's playing, he's almost playing like this 80s like pro wrestler from like the old like WWF days, like a Bret Hart type guy. There's more to his backstory in the movie, where his look makes complete sense in the film. Like, it makes complete sense. So and then I think everyone else just did a really good job, man. Like, I mean, it's the kind of movie where, again, it is what it is, and it's hard to critique it because I'm not the audience for it. But it's not a terrible film. It's not a terrible film. Am I going to recommend it to you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I do have a reputation to uphold here, man. And look, this is not a good film or great film. But look, if you have kids, I will recommend it. But let me do it that way. If you have kids, I'll say go see this film, because it's geared for them. It's made for them, right? And maybe if you're a big fan of the game, maybe go see it if you're a big fan of the game. But other than that, nah, I'm not going to recommend it. But it's kind of wild, man. I mean, it's wild that this is the movie right now that's saving theaters right now. At least until Fantastic Four and all that. But even then, like, we don't really know for sure if that's going to do anything. So anyway, guys, that's it for me, man. Look. I'm still in shock at how well this movie's doing. I can't believe those numbers that we just looked at. But you know what, though? It's good for the theaters. It's good for movies. And right now, we just need a win. No matter where it comes from, no matter what movie it is, we just need a win. So, guys, please subscribe to the channel. That always helps me out a lot. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Leave a comment, reshare the video. That kind of stuff always helps. And I'll talk to you soon.